2024 academic session. The turnout of students in most of the schools visited was impressive, being the first day of resumption. Assembly grounds were filled to the brim with students and their teachers who thanked God for the new year, while others engaged in fervent prayers for the success of the academic session. Principal Oyemeku Grammar School Akure Ogunleye Okeowo maintained that all the needed preparations have been made towards the smooth running of the term.
Let everything that will not glorify your name be leveled by your fire. Open your mouth and pray in the name of Jesus. Open your mouth and pray. Jesus, go ahead of me. You don't keep me out in pain. To May, to June, to July, to August, to September, October, November, December 2024. Jesus, go ahead of me, Lord.
In the next 30 minutes, we start our physical test. We have our statutory meeting on Friday. So we started our academic section for this services last week, Friday. We only resumed today. Officially, we resumed today. We started our academic work Friday. I met the teachers and I told them all our activities for this time. They are all accepted. My message to my students is that they should put more effort. Last time we conducted our exams and we given them the results. And probably they must have seen where they did not do well. So my advice is more effort. When you have 3 or 4 papers last time, you can still put more effort and improve yourself. My advice to the parents is to allow the parents to read at home. Most of these students don't have they don't have the ability to read at home. They should cultivate the idea of reading. Let them read. The more you read, the more you understand.
Students across most public schools across the nation have also resumed for the new term. Still on education, a former director in the Federal Ministry of Education, Dele Olakweju, has advocated the need to revamp evaluation mechanisms of certificate authorization for Nigerian students who study abroad. Olakweju, who pushed for stiffer measures to be placed, particularly on Francophone countries, gave a recommendation on the sidelines of an investigative report which exposed how a bachelor's degree could be obtained in 6 weeks from an institution in Benin Republic. Osrc Zaid has more on unraveling certificate racketeering.
Several factors prompt young Nigerians seeking academic qualifications to look elsewhere outside the shores of the country. Failure to meet certain stringent entry standards, inability to secure admission into institutions of choice, the quest to avoid uncertainty in Nigeria's education system, and the ease of bagging a degree certificate, among others. Just recently, an undercover journalist, Umar Audu, revealed the speed at which he acquired his degree certificate in mass communication from the Cotonou-based university in Benin Republic, and how it was delivered to him like pizza. He was also able to participate in the one-year National Youth Service Corps for the second time, breaching available safeguard mechanisms. Ahudu opened a can of worms on how he got his certificate within 6 weeks and the booming activities of syndicates involved in certificate racketeering in Benin Republic and Togo, selling university degrees to workers in Nigeria. Following the discovery, the Nigerian government has placed a ban on validation of degree certificates from Benin Republic and Togo, a move projected to affect no fewer than 15,000 Nigerian students in Benin. Countries like Uganda and Kenya are also on the receiving end of federal government sanction, a move which the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, says is being followed by a probe. Commenting on the development, a former Director of Education in the Federal Ministry of Education, Otumba Dele Olakpeju, described the racketeering scandal a virus which must be expunged.
No, it's perfect. Much as there will be people who want to go to school, there are people who don't want to go to school but want to obtain the certificate. So of course we had the Oluwole things in Lagos. So it's not new. Nigeria, but I think at this level of our expect to national standards, I think the nation should sit right, and never into understand.
Lagos principle of mapping of evaluation mechanisms within the ministry wants stiffer measures in place on Francophone countries.
International cooperation in Nigeria, in the world, all over. That's what we call mutual recognition of certificates. If I'm a nation, Nigeria, and you want to collaborate with me and cooperate with me bilaterally, for instance, Benin Republic, we had agreements where we have mutual recognition of certificates. That is, if you have tertiary institutions that are operating within the laws of the world, and then me as another nation, I have institutions, we will look at both institutions and see that we mutually recognize our certificates. But the situation we have now is that most of these Francophone countries don't have what it takes to have the quality education that we, the British education or the English-speaking countries, we had a better system in our countries.
Olakpeju commended the journalist for the wide awake alert, urging the federal government to bestow him a national honor.
I want to commend that journalist for his bravery and for his journalistic expertise. We have always had scandals here and there in the system. It's not new, but definitely this one is very embarrassing to me because I work in that ministry and we tried to clean up the system. But now it's what we are seeing now is that we have to go back to the drawing board again.
Several groups and individuals have also called for stricter scrutiny with allegations that Nigerian universities are not totally blameless of certificate racketeering. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
The Director of Accounts in Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, Mr. Joseph Akimbosede, has bowed out of public service of the state. Family, friends, and co-workers eulogized his professional diligence while in service at the pen-down ceremony held at the station's boardroom in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Omonola Ubechi has the details.
History is repeating itself as a public servant who began his service as a messenger 35 years ago rose to the directorate level in the same organization before retirement. Director of Accounts in Osrc Media Group, Joseph Akimbosede, popularly called Pastor Joe, was employed into the service of Ondo State in 1989 as messenger. Mr. Akimbosede embarked on personal training from the Polytechnic to the University 2003. He also became chartered in his profession after graduating from the Nigerian College of Accountancy. Mr. Akimbosede dropped his pen as civil servant after 35 years of meritorious service. Chairman, Osrc Media Group, Kunle Adebayo, represented by Director of Operations, Sunshine 96.5 FM Alalaye, Bukola Ogunkwa, congratulated the celebrator for the successful service years, noting that his diligence and attention to details in the discharge of his duty should be emulated.
Pastor Joe is a very, very hardworking man. He takes his job seriously, and I like every one of us to emulate that.
Eulogizing his style of delivery as the officer in charge of financial affairs of the corporation, directors and other staff members maintained that his mature style of delivery would be greatly missed.
For him to have succeeded to go through those rigor and still looking young like this. That's a very good way of managing stress.
Pastor Joe has been very honest with the accounts of this corporation, and I pray that as you are going into the world, as you are returning into the vineyard of the Lord, God Almighty will uphold you.
When you talk about commitment to someone's job, this commitment, you can't take that from I've been thinking, what will happen after the exit of Pastor Joe? We know how we deal with him. In any case, it's for the good of this place.
Pastor Joe is an accountant. He's also a production person. We work together with us downstairs. He knows everything that goes on in the corporation. He's a core media personnel.
He has the pensions to achieve. So he doesn't take things lightly. He will put all his zeal into it.
Congratulations.
Chairman, Association of National Accountants, Ondo State Chapter, Ojo Ayodele expressed satisfaction over the testimonies by co-workers and called for more collective efforts amongst members of staff, accountants, and management to achieve a desired result.
To be a civil servant and to tread on that slippery terrain for 35 years is not easy. And what I've heard about him has been very impressive. I've done his job and he's a real professional. So we thank God for what God has done in his life.
The elated retired officer, Mr. Joseph Akimbosede, and wife appreciated the honor done him with the promise to continue with the service to humanity.
I will retire into the ministry by God's grace, and then I have one or two things doing to keep myself fit for life. And at the same time, I'm still agile, so I can still do one or two things for myself.
In fact, I'm really happy today. In fact, for seeing people surrounding my husband, honoring him, in fact, it's a pleasure.
You and a wonderful
Mr. Joseph Akimbosede is also a minister of God at the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Omoriola Humbeji, Osrc News.
Who becomes the Deputy Governor of Ondo State? That is one question dominating public discourse in the Sunshine State following the assumption of Lucky Aiyedatiwa as governor. Osrc Zaida x-rays the permutations, conjectures, and history through the lens of residents and political watchers in the state. The report.
27th December 2023 remains an unforgettable day in the history of Ondo State, as the death of the then Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu paved way for a new emsman. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, his deputy, rose to become the substantive office bearer. Days have now gone by after the transition of power to Aiyedatiwa as the 7th civilian governor of the Sunshine State. Section 191 of the Nigerian Constitution, subsection 3, paragraph C, indicates that for any other reason, the governor shall nominate with the approval of the House of Assembly, appoints a new deputy governor, while should be appointed from which part of the state, what gender, and of which religion are some of the questions populating the discourse.
Nobody has monopoly, so there must be somebody to assist the governor. You cannot be in two places at the same time. So, appointing deputy governor, the governor must not be in a hurry.
My hope, and my opinion, and my observation that the deputy governor should come from this Akure city.
Látọ̀wọ̀ ló ti ẹ kó tó wá. Torí tó bá ti wá látọ̀wọ̀. Tábàtì ní ìdí gómìnà ní Àkúrẹ́ bí ara ìṣe gómìnà l'Àkúrẹ́ bí tó bá ti wá látọ̀wọ̀ Ọ̀wọ̀ ló yẹ kó tó wá.
Some political watchers in the state also bear their thoughts as to what should be considered in filling the vacant position and possible influences over the governor's decision.
Prerogative. He has the right to pick whoever he believes he can work with. Don't forget that a deputy governor needs to show absolute support and loyalty to his boss. So he must actually take his time to know who he believes he can perfectly work with, and that one will determine where the deputy governorship choice will come from, either from the central senatorial district or from the northern senatorial districts. We don't compensate government offices. We don't use to compensate people. You scout for that you believe can work with you. He is from a party that controls the federal. I cannot rule out the influence of the federal government, of his party at national level, or even the president. So he will need to consult him very well, and he will need his backing since they are from the same party.
Some politicians and social commentators also identified the need to place priority on competence against mediocrity or undue political patronage.
If they are going to be partners in progress, he needs to look out for competence first and also for political propriety and balance. So if we want to look at it from the balance point of view politically, now the governor is from the south. Then the way it was switched before, it was between north and south. Now, if it were to be because of the disruption as a result of the unfortunate incidents of the demise of the former governor, then I will still have, in my own opinion, I will have said that it still has to be swapped in that direction, at least for the remaining part of the tenure, not to be seen as being altered. In the past, it was Agagu from the south and central deputy governor. So, but now I think for the purpose of when central was governor, the deputy went up north.
Well, someone who will work for the benefit of Ondo State, someone who will take the interest of our people as his primary concern, somebody that will do the best. For ordinarily, zoning shouldn't really matter, but good governance. The person that has the right quality, that has the capacity, that has the character to lead us.
When eventually appointed, the new deputy governor will join Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa to see out the current 4-year term, which ends in February 2025. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
Reports just reaching our size, President Bola Tinubu has suspended the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, from office with immediate effect. The President also directed the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transactions involving the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, as well as one or more agencies thereunder. The suspended minister has been directed to hand over to the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, while she has also been directed to fully cooperate with the investigating authorities as they conduct their investigation. The Board of Directors of Okitipupa Oil Palm PL Commuters and residents along the Akure-Ado-Ekiti Expressway have shared optimism that the contractors handling the road dualization will approach the task with renewed vigor in the new year. The Akure-Ado Road project which was re-awarded in 2023, has witnessed consistent construction works to the delight of residents who want the effort sustained in order to bring an end to the hardship faced on the road. Osrc's Zaid Aribisala has an update.
Dusty haze fills the atmosphere in response to the fast movement of vehicles along Akure-Ado Expressway. Some months before the end of year 2023, construction work began on the Igoba-Iju-Itabulu end of the expressway. This development followed the decision of the federal government to re-award the contract. Since then, expansion works to accommodate the dualization, drainage and bridge constructions necessary at strategic locations have been embarked upon to the admiration of commuters and residents of the area. But as the new year unfolds, the people enjoin the contractors to approach the task with a renewed vigor to accelerate the construction ahead the stipulated deadline.
I see some development. That means I can say the road is moving. It's moving gradually. They are performing excellently concerning the working of this road. Bridge, the comfort, everything have been done last 2 weeks when I went to my farm there. I can use this opportunity to beg all the contractors or the government or federal government or to finish the work for the conveniences of masses of the people, because we are in the what can I say, dry season period. In order to prevent our people from dust, beg the government to still put more effort to see that the project have been finished very soon.
The work for don't go far, they for don't finish all this area, they for don't finish. But because all the way say they go, we want to beg the government that they should help us, that the contract should not more than 2 years.
A worrisome trend, however, observed on the expressway even as construction works take place is the perchance of drivers to speed excessively. The residents enjoin motorists to be cautious while plying the road.
Àwọn mọ́tò Adó yẹn wọ́n ṣe máa ń sáré gidi níbí wọ́n àti tipa gan ìgbà mi gan wọ́n kọlu ọ̀kadà níbí lákọlura wọn tí mo ṣe kọ́kúta sí iwájú ọ̀dọ̀ tèmi ni pé báyà àtúnṣe díẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìdọ́sìn pátó lọlẹ̀ díẹ̀ kí wọ́n put more effort sí iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe wọ́n try o tó bá padà dé báyìí kọ́ lè bá ètò ìṣe kíákíá torí dust.
The federal government had flagged off the re-awarded dualization of the 50-kilometer Akure-Ado Road project, which is expected to go up 95.9 billion naira, though the contract was awarded to two construction companies, one handling the Ondo State corridor and the other meant for the Ado-Ekiti axis.
The drainage that was done there before was like this type, but I think Ministry of Works condemned it and then I did the deeper one. If you are going now, you see that it's a deeper, it's different from the one you are seeing here. Because that side has been classified as area with all that. So with that, I think we are seeing quality. I think Ministry of Works is really supervising this time. They are not leaving any stone unturned. We are hopeful that it will be one of the best interstate roads in Nigeria. On the second, I was in Ado-Ekiti. They were not even on site. We can't find any equipment on the road.
Former Minister of Works, Babatunde Fashola, had said the road construction was expected to be completed within 24 months and expectations to hit this deadline remain high. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Governments at all levels must be resolute in fulfilling God's mandate for the country if the nation will rise above its things this year. This was the cross of messages delivered by clergymen at various churches in Akure, the state capital, to mark the first Sunday service in the year 2024. Zaid Aribisala again reports.
It was joy unspeakable for worshippers at various churches in Akure as they gathered to appreciate God for witnessing the first Sunday of year 2024 in good health. The gathering of Christians at different churches visited also gave them the opportunity to pray for the prosperity of their families, loved ones, and the country in the year 2024. In his first Thanksgiving exhortation, the General Evangelist, United Apostolic of Christ Church, Prophet Gabriel Allo, urged Christians to hold on to God's word in the new year.
I believe this year 2024 is going to make a big difference in our life, in the life of the state, and the life of the whole Nigeria as a whole, and even in the world. If only we return back to God and we believe in Him and we put all our trust in Him.
Deacon Folu Oshundare of First Baptist Church and Deputy Superintendent CNS Atumbi Mose, Apostle Olu Bodunde, called on the federal government to implement policies that will alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians.
That we know that divinely God will go with us in this year. And if God goes with us in this year, it means that we are going to do many things differently. So all the hazards that we fear of in this country, like kidnapping, rituals, or whatever, we believe that with God's presence, definitely an end will come to it.
So we hope for the best this year.
As for the lead pastor, CAC Okeanu, Apostle Bamidele Lawal, and General Overseer, the Act of Apostle Zacchaeus Adeborota, Nigerians must remain patriotic and contribute their quota positively to the development of the country.
We as a living soul, you bring peace, I bring peace. That peace will multiply. Let us put that one to our mind this year 2024.
Worshippers, including Temitope Abidakun, Oni Temitope, and others, said they were optimistic that the year 2024 would usher in good tidings, notwithstanding the state of the economy last year.
And we are very optimistic that this year will be very good for everybody. It will be better than the last year. That we taught our efforts, and we will serve our God fervently to always be on our side.
Ọdún 2024 yìí á jẹ́ ọdún ayọ̀, ọdún ìgbésókè fún gbogbo wa nínú ọdún 2024 yìí.
Ní ọdún 2024 yìí, mo fẹ́ yin Ọlọ́run lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Mo fẹ́ súnmọ́ Ọlọ́run ju ti àtẹ̀yìnwá lọ nítorí òun nìkan lọ́ba tó ń ṣe àwòtán ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ẹni.
My application for this year is to give my entire life to Jesus Christ.